Hi, I'm Jason. I'm the general manager here at Standard Machine. I'm in charge of all the operations, all of the sales that happens here at our location in Saskatoon. Standard Machine is a very large machine shop, all-encompassing, that really drives gearing in general is our priority for supplying the mining community in Canada.
My name is Jeff Thurber. I'm a heat treat team leader here. And basically what I'm doing here is we're heating up gears and pinions that have the teeth on them, and we're making them a lot harder than what they come to us at. They cut the teeth with the base material, we throw in the furnace, we heat it up to 1720 degrees Fahrenheit, carburize them, and then kind of carry on the process from there. So they end up a lot harder than when we get them.
Hi, I'm Joe Franey. I'm an industrial mechanic or millwright here at Standard Machine. So here we focus on the disassembly and assembly of industrial power transmissions. So that goes from customer sending it in to us bringing it in the building, starting the disassembly process, assessment. Then it goes through engineering, QA, measurements, any repairs that need to be done. Then it comes back to us in the mechanics area, and we put the gearbox back together, test run, send it back out.
I am Tammy Wisminity, and I'm a bearing repair technician. I rebuild industrial bearings, so bearings that are used in mining equipment, milling processes like pulp and paper mills, steel mills, large bearings. Anything could happen. It basically depends on our workflow. It can be from assessing bearings that come in to see what damage they've incurred, grinding raceways, rebuilding bearings, doing assessments, reading drawings and setting up equipment, measuring, a variety of tasks.
I don't really have a typical workday. I could get pulled into a lot of different directions. Could mean solving problems on the shop floor, could mean solving a sales problem with one of our customers. It could also mean coming up with new safety implementations that we need to do for the shop floor.
My typical day, I start with checking our furnaces. There's a lot of checks and balances that we have to do to make sure that they're running correctly. We do a lot of preparation for the gears and the pinions that are going into the furnace. Basically just making sure that everything is running as it should. You don't want to have an issue with the furnace while the parts are in there, and then it kind of makes it for an interesting day if that happens.
Our industry focuses mainly on potash, oil and gas, like the big industries, coal as well. Millwright is an industrial mechanic, so kind of like an automotive technician would take apart like a transmission. Our transmissions go from anywhere between 1,000 pounds to well over 100,000 pounds.
I started here 26 years ago as a draftsperson in our engineering department. I moved off into customer service and then started in sales. Then I started managing the mechanics in our repair and new drives facility. After that, I went into outside sales and then started to drive the whole sales department. And then after about 15 years, I became the general manager here. So a lot of the things that happen here, and even in the drafting world, is a little bit artistic, but a little bit of logic behind what we're trying to accomplish. How to solve problems is a big deal here. So being able to see those solutions on the computer, on paper, is something that's really quite important. I like doing drafting because it wasn't entirely up to me. I could draw on a lot of different sources with our team to come up with those proper solutions. So I went down the engineering path. I went to school for a couple of years at U of S. Wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. And then I went out and decided that Kelsey was or Polytechnic, I guess today, it was a better path for me. More hands-on, more technical, I was the bridge between the technician and the engineer, and that seemed to suit my role and my capacities much better.
So I got here from high school. I had a friend that was in the industry, and he got me a job as a machinist. So I started off as a machinist. I got my journeyman ticket 4 years after I started. Then I came here, and about 10 years after working here, I wanted another kind of challenge, and they needed help in the heat treat department. So I volunteered in there, and I started in the heat treat, slowly at a bit at a time until I got a little more training in there. And then I started working in there full time about 6 years ago. And it's been a really good career for me.
I've always liked to work, and I've liked to be outside, so I've done a variety of non-traditional jobs, from farming to welding to machining to here. I was actually applying to take a class at SciAst, and I got offered a position here in the bearing repair department, and the determining factor was I could learn something here that there's no school for. I love my job. I love what I do. I love that every day is different. I love that I work hard. I love the fact that I'm making stuff with my hands, that I do stuff that regular people can't do or even imagine doing. It's exciting. I've got a grade 12 diploma, and I basically, with work experience, because I've had a variety of non-traditional jobs, like I spent 10 years on a farm, so I was running equipment, dealing with livestock, and then with welding. It was something I wanted to try and I wanted to learn, and I was willing to put in the work, and I wanted to learn something. I wanted to be taught, and I went and I did it. I applied myself.
We recently just got done a shutdown for Dow Chemical, and it was a 12-day turnaround on one of their main production gearboxes, and it was a 24-hour, 10-day shutdown. So we had a crew of 6 guys, 3 on days, 3 on nights, to bring the gearbox in, fully disassemble, replace what needed to be replaced, put it back together, and get it back to the customer. And I believe we accomplished it in 10 days, which was very rewarding.
The advice I'd give to myself about coming into, if I was 17 and coming into this trade, get good at math. You definitely need math to do this trade. Something I didn't think that I needed at the time. Who thinks he needs to learn fractions and decimal places, but you do. That's a big part of machining or any of the trades that are in this shop. It's a very good trade. You always have work, you always have a paycheck. It's always interesting, always learning. And there's always, areas to move around. Just because you machine, if you're on a lathe or something, you can always jump onto a mill later, or grinding or something. There's always something to challenge yourself in these trades. So it's very interesting.
We really work as a team here, and coming up collaboratively with solutions is something that I actually really enjoy. Every day there's a new solution for a different problem that might come up. It's really exciting because we don't ever see that same problem over and over and over. It's something that's new and comes with us every single day from a different department. Whether it's a customer has an issue in their processes and we can come up with a new solution around it, whether it's some sort of higher torque requirements in some of the equipment that they have, or they have a problem that we're trying to solve with a solution that we've provided previously. There's also problems on the shop floor that we can overcome. If there's an issue with the machine, a way that we can differently set up a part to figure out how we can manufacture that more effectively. We have a lot of different departments. So one of the best parts about working here is we have people that kind of cycle through a lot of different areas. So you can work as a machinist, as a millwright, a mechanic, a welder. We have heat treating as well. So while we're working in one area, we can actually walk across the shop and find out from the other person how they do their job and what's important to them in their job to help what we're doing today to make their job a little bit better.
There's people here with so many skills and so many ideas that we all came together and we made it happen. And I don't know if there's any other machine that has a dresser like it, but I could go so far as to say that I've got the only dresser in the world like it. And I don't know, it feels really good. Be teachable. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. A good thing to do is listen. Find an old guy on the shop floor that has all his fingers and has maybe 30 years because he's been here, he's been smart, and he's got something to teach you. So be a fly on the wall and listen and observe and take as much from him as you can, because you'll go the farthest with somebody like that.